In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what I think is the best budget lens for the Canon M50, so stick around. So this is going to be a quick review. This seems to be the first camera for a lot of people, and they're not really sure where to go after they want to move away from the kit lens that comes with it. And this is a decent lens, and it can be a good general use lens, but if you want to get more creative with your photography, you're going to want to step into a lens that has a wider aperture and can give you more control as far as depth of field. What I think is the best lens for that is the Canon M-mount 22mm STM lens. And this is it on the M50 right here. It's a very small lens, and it's a perfect lens matched to this camera. This lens is only $229. Now, that's still $229, but in the world of lenses where something like this L series 24-70 could be $1,500, $1,700, that's pretty inexpensive to get some really nice images. This is the Canon Nifty 50. It's the 50mm 1.8, and this sells for about $125. So yes, it's cheaper. It's about half the price of the 22mm. But I want to show you something. Even though it's 50mm and it's inexpensive, look at the size difference. To use it on the M50, you have to use some sort of adapter. So there's a big size difference with these two lenses. The 22mm you can use for vlogging and for video, where the 50mm you really don't want to use for vlogging. It's too tight. So this is a decent photography lens, but I wouldn't use it for video necessarily. And this is a great all-around lens because it's a 35mm equivalent. I'm going to talk about the size, and the size is important. So when I put it back here on the camera, okay, this is the kit that you walk around with when you're using this. Super compact. It's almost like a point and shoot. And as a comparison, I have my Nikon D7000, which is also a crop sensor camera, and I have a 35mm f2 Nikon lens on it. So here's the comparison. This is a lot bigger. This is not something that you can easily throw into your pocket or into the side of your cargo shorts or your handbag. You would need a backpack or some sort of camera bag, or you'd have to have it hanging on your side. So this is a much more travel-friendly setup with better image quality than this. This lens is actually better than this Nikon lens. You know, I just like this whole form factor. I like the flip-out screen. So this is a great lens for travel. And I went to Puerto Rico, and you saw it in the last video if you saw our travel video for the M50. This setup right here was the only thing I had with me, and it was great. I got images of my family, of where we were walking around. So this was great as a travel camera, and I didn't look like I was carrying around a $3,000 DSLR with a big lens on it like this looks like. This looks like, you know, it's a little more professional looking. Even though cost-wise they're probably similar, you know, this is still a more inconspicuous way to go. Depth of field. F2 lenses give you a nice shallow depth of field when you want it. And I took some images of my kids in this room the other day, and they were sitting on the couch and just goofing around in here. And look at this image of my daughter's shoe when she was sitting on the couch. That's shallow depth of field. That's what F2 lets you do. The kit lens that comes with the M50, the 15-45, is a 3.5 to 6.3 aperture lens. So the depth of field is not going to be as shallow, and as you zoom out, the depth of field actually gets deeper, so you lose that shallow depth of field. So this is a great lens if you want to get creative with your images and kind of separate your subject from the background. So how is this for video? Well, I did a video when I was talking about the M50 for YouTube, and I threw this on there for a little bit, and it's actually a decent field of view. The other day I was standing here and I actually just held the camera. I had no tripod in my hand or anything. I flipped open the screen and I was just holding it away from my face. So these little video clips are the field of view that you get if you're just holding it away. If you have it on a tripod and you can bring it further away from yourself, it's actually even better. The lens itself is very sharp. I like using it for stills. Here are some images I took when we were in New York City when I first got the camera. Just kind of had it in my pocket, pulled it out. You know, it was crowded. I didn't really want to carry my DSLR, so this was a perfect opportunity for a camera this size. It was right in the middle of the Christmas season when you're banging into people, and I didn't want to be holding up big cameras and lenses, so it was perfect in that situation. And the images are sharp. And for video, I like that you can separate yourself from the background. I'm using a 2.8 aperture lens right here. and the background's a little out of focus. But the image I shot the other day where I was talking about social media, I actually shot some video with this setup right here, and there's a nice separation between me and the background, and that's something that I really like. So if you have the kit set up, so if you bought the camera and it came with this 15 to 45, and you're saying to yourself, all right, I don't want to drop $1,000 on a really expensive glass and have to use adapters and just get into all that. I just want another lens that's going to let me get a little more creative, but I don't want to break the bank. This is the lens that I think you should definitely go for. Inexpensive, good quality optics, great images, it's good for video. It's a great all-around lens. Okay, that's it. So that's a little quick review of this lens. I hope it helps some of you that have been asking the questions. If you have another lens that you like that's in this price range at $229, put it in the comments, because you know, as you know, I was primarily a Nikon shooter, so I'm not as familiar with all of the glass that's available for Canon. But I just know that I love this little lens, and the more I use it, the more I want to use it and not carry around a big giant setup with me. So when I'm heading out with just my family and just want to have a decent camera with me, this is what I take, and I love it. Okay, so that's it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.